Crochet. That's it. That's the hook. Crochet quite literally translates to hook in French. It's possible that I just have a biased speed, but I've noticed crochet talk and other fiber arts becoming a lot more popular. Or maybe you've noticed some cute crochet items in stores, and I'm here to tell you that that crochet top or sweater may actually be machine knitted fabrics designed to imitate crochet. If you look closely, you'll notice that's actually thinner and smoother than actually crocheted fabric. As someone who has crocheted for about 5 to 6 years and started knitting this year, people often see what I'm doing and ask, "Oh, are you crocheting?" or "Are you knitting?" And there's at least a 50% chance they're guessing wrong. But I can't fault them for that because I probably would have made the exact same mistake before I got into fiber arts. First, one key difference between crochet and knitting is the tools. Crochet generally uses one hook at a time. On the other hand, or in my other hand, knitting most commonly uses two needles. There are also circular needles like these, which are two needles connected with a cord that are used for larger projects or projects worked in a round. So even before we start making anything, the tools already give us our first look. One hook for crochet, multiple needles for knitting. Now, keeping these tools in mind, let's look at how they're actually used. This picture from Nimble Needle's Knitting versus Crochet article is a great example of all three differences at once: the tools, the technique, and the resulting fabrics. Crochet, each stitch is completed before moving on to the next one. The hook pulls yarn through existing loops that are on a hook, leaving only one active loop at a time. Textile engineering researcher Johannes Stork explains that the individual stitch construction is one reason crochet has been so difficult to automate. So, knitting works differently with multiple stitches remaining active on the needles as you work across an entire row at one time, creating interlocking loops that form these sort of V shapes. This difference is especially important when we talk about machines. Researchers found that a basic crochet stitch uses about 28 coordinated movements across 9 axes of motion. That is a lot more mechanically complicated to reproduce than the repeated structure of knitted fabric. Because the techniques are different, the finished fabrics are different as well. Chances are the clothes you have on are probably machine knitted, just like this shirt here. If you look very closely, you'll see smooth columns of little V-shaped stitches. Crochet tends to have more braided or knotted looking stitches, having a thicker and more textured surface. So, knitted fabric is generally smoother, thinner, and stretchier than crochet. Researchers in Nature Communications explains that this stretch comes from the arrangement and topology of the knitted stitches, not just the yarn itself, which is also used in crochet. So, knitting is typically favored for garments that require drape and elasticity, like sweaters, socks, and lightweight scarves, while crochet is better for structured items like blankets or stuffed animals. That's also why when we look at crochet in a store, it's typically machine made knit, just designed to look like crochet. And this brings me back to why I want to talk about this in the first place. In a recent design dissertation examining crochet and knitting as slow fashion technologies, Xi Ping connects these crafts with ideas of craftsmanship, sustainability, and quality over mass production. For example, this top that I made used about $50 worth of linen cotton yarn, and I spent roughly 20 to 25 hours working on it over the course of a week. And it's also a combination of crochet, a crocheted sunny granny square on the front, and a knitted back. And that's not just a lot of money, potentially, but a lot of human time and effort went into this top. And it makes it super difficult to put a price on these handmade items that is both fair to the person buying it and the person who made it. So, crochet and knitting may both start with a strand of yarn, but they create fabric in different ways. Crochet uses one hook and completes one stitch at a time, while knitting keeps multiple live stitches on the needles to create its interlocking structure. Next time you're scrolling through Crochet Talk or browsing clothes at a store, you should take a closer look. And you might discover that what looks like crochet is actually machine knitting. More importantly, though, I hope you'll see the hours of skill, patience, and creativity behind every handmade piece of fiber art. Whether it's knit, crochet, or another handmade craft, every stitch, every stroke, every piece of it represents human time and craftsmanship that deserves to be appreciated. Thank you.